Multi-exclusive dimensional being Kyle with another exclusive. Today's video is going to be about the moon in Virgo. Yes. So when the moon goes in Virgo, what is Virgo and what is the moon? So the moon is basically your safety and security. So everybody got a moon. A nigga got a moon. A female got a moon. So it's really nothing for you to basically pass upon this, because especially knowing that men may not take this to consideration. Not all men, but also you gotta look at it as the bigger picture. Your moon is your macabre, the way you feel, the way you basically bring home security. Your mother, basically, that's what it is. Every man got a mother within him, because every man came from out of a mother. And then when you got Virgo into this perspective, this is basically feminine Earth. So what is Earth? Earth is stability, practicality, stable, structure, and of course, Virgo is mutable. So it is always adapting to new ways and new changes in life as far as being mutable. And of course, when you got the moon in Virgo, you should take advantage and take the chance and opportunity to basically act out in the mutable nature as far as what you want to manifest in life, as far as what you need to basically be looking over. And with this Mercury in Scorpio, which Mercury governs also Virgo and Gemini, with Mercury being in Scorpio, you're going to be investigating in your life. You're going to be looking at the bigger details. You're going to be overanalyzing things. You're going to be looking at the bigger perspective. And of course, you're going to be reorganizing your life and seeing where you need to basically take strands and things and mix things around so ways can be more perfective in your way. This way you can perfect and personalize and analyze where you need to basically be heading in life, because we may be overlooking these things as far as the bigger picture, or basically looking at start to finish. Some people, they just jump the gun. Some people, they just do things out of consideration and they wait. But it's one thing to basically look at the broad perspectives of things when you basically doing things. So this way shit won't be too out of control or out of chaos, and you won't be acting too critical. And of course, when the moon is in Virgo too, and also it's dealing with the nervous system. So a lot of people may deal with anxiety issues, pancreas issues. Some people got pancreas problems and stuff. You want to basically watch out for these things. For me, you don't want to overpass these things, especially if you're not acting out in the energy. You may basically feel these pains come your way. So you got to always be in your state of being, your state of awareness, when you basically taking power and control of your life, which is this retrograde shit. But of course, when we got Aries, you're gonna basically be more practicalizing with your personal issues in your life, as far as what you need to basically go look over of, what you need to basically do, what you need to basically take into consideration as far as how you're gonna basically do better at things or reevaluate things. Because when you got this here in Aries, you may just jump the gun. You may not look at the details. You may not overanalyze things. For me, you just may basically rush into things. So it's good to always take your time and to always look at things this way. It'll play out into your perspective versus you being on the other side of the ball game, and things may not go into your way. So you got to be very aware of this. And also, this right here is a fall too. So you may get into conflicts with people or circumstances, situations, as far as how you want to be seen in your life when you're dealing with the community or whoever you're dealing with in your groups and shit like that. So you want to be aware of this and not basically bypass with this. And of course, if you got a moon Aries, you're going to be receiving this energy right back. Now, when you got this in Taurus, it's basically practicing on health, food, spending money and stuff, and having self-control. Feel me? Because there's one thing, the conscious may not be here. Of course, Taurus is stable and it's fixated in its own way. So you may not be willing to change things up. You may not be willing to get out your comfort zone. So you may be into the process of overspending, overdoing things, and overeating. And basically, you got to watch out for your health. So health is very important, especially if you got to get more into the mutable aspect, because it may be hard for you, because you feel me? Fixated is being stubborn in its own way. Mutable is being able to open up. So you got to basically open up. If you got a moon in Taurus, you're going to be receiving this energy right back at you. Gemini, when you got Virgo and Gemini, grounding your thoughts and your ideas. It's one thing to basically be overthinking about things, daydreaming about things, but it's another thing to basically bring these things down into existence. And you basically got a gift here, so you want to basically utilize this to the best of your abilities, and make sure you're being more practical when you're doing this with your everyday life. This way things can basically go out into its perspective in your way, and you won't have any issues or problems dealing with people, places, and things. You won't be stagnated. You won't be in one spot. You got a moon in Gemini, you're going to be receiving this energy. Also, Cancer, this is a sextile too. So you're going to be basically practicalizing your life in home matters, private matters, and routines. So, of course, you need to basically be looking towards obligations and routines that's going to best suit you in your way, and an enjoyable way, not a way where you may be overanalyzing, self-critical about your health or your life, or basically make sure your house is clean, make sure you basically reorganizing things in your life, your living room or anything of perspective. Make sure you're throwing things away that's not going to clog or basically make you feel vulnerable about certain things. So you want to make sure you're taking care of this. If you got a moon in Cancer, you're going to be receiving this energy from people in your private matters and stuff. Also dealing with home. When you got this in Leo, you're going to be basically being more practical with your self-expressions in life, as far as routine, practical measures and stuff like that. Making sure your talents is basically being put more into a way of where you can see yourself. This way opportunity is basically opening up. So, Virgo is basically mutable earth, and of course Leo is fixed fire. So Leo, it may be some kind of bouginess going on as far as how you want to see yourself. So make sure you're being center stage and being more practical, because when you're being more practical and using the energies, things start to get to flowing, no matter what aspect it is in your life, because this is basically in general. And of course, when the moon going to Libra, which is basically a romantic thing as far as the Leo's perspective, you want to make sure you put yourself in a circumstance situation of basically being practical in natures, where things can be squares, oppositions, or motherfucking trines, or opportunities for you to basically learn things. This way you can move on in your life. If you got a moon in Leo, you're going to be receiving this energy from people. Also, when we got Virgo, you're going to be basically grounding your ways of doing things, dealing with work, routine, and pattern. Make sure you have self-satisfaction. The energy can be doubled during this time because the moon is in Virgo too. And also, you're going to have the ability to heal people, places, and things. And you're going to be able to actually practicalize this and basically be a more of assistant personnel when you're dealing with people in the public arena. So, this is a good opportunity to basically look into that and not be in your own secluded space, as far as not being able to bring yourself more open. So make sure you right with yourself before you get right with anybody else. If you got a moon in Virgo, you're going to be receiving this reflection right back at you. When we got motherfucking Libra, you're going to be self-critical as far as dealing with balance in your life, as far as the relationships, and also basically you're gonna be dealing with being on the verge of trying to fix your relationship, or basically fix people, places, and things around your relationships. Everything don't need fixing. Everybody don't need fixing. Feel me? It's the reason why people are like this, and everybody got their own path. So feel me? Don't try to basically put yourself in a situation where you're being too overbearing or over dramatical to the point where people may just see you as a threat to their space and location. Feel me? Everything don't need fixing. And Venus, or you could say Libra, falls in Virgo. So it's basically you may not get what you want in this lifetime, as far as being self-satisfaction when dealing with relationships and shit. So don't put yourself in a circumstance situation of having doubt. Make sure you go with yourself, and make sure that you gotta be open to let people do their thing. And everybody may come out their shell, or everybody may not come out their shell, but don't try to control nobody, because it's gonna be a whole lot of conflicts. You don't want conflicts, because you strive for balance, you strive for peace and harmony. So you don't want to be having no issues with that. If you got a moon in Libra, you're gonna be receiving this energy. Also, Scorpio, you're gonna be working on transformational issues as far as dealing with practicality, challenges, and satisfaction. I know what this is because this is in my chart. So you're gonna basically be fixating. It's gonna be basically hard for you to do this shit, because you may be fixated in your ways of doing things and staying in your bubble. But you got to basically act out in nature to be more mutable as far as adapting to changes and shit and being a service to other people, places, and things. Or people being a service to you as far as them trying to help you. So don't be naive during this time. Feel me? Maybe stuck in your own way, but this can be an opportunity for a chance for somebody to basically walk into your life and help you out. So you want to make sure you putting this into perfection. So yeah, take that into consideration. If you got a moon in Scorpio, you're gonna be receiving this reflection from people that's acting out in this nature towards you. And when you got Sagittarius, you're gonna be basically dealing with practicality, dealing with your principles, your belief, and being more organized. For me, it's one thing to basically be into a whole lot of shit, but if you ain't putting this shit into practicality and bringing this down more into density, which is the ground, for me, because it's one thing. I mean, you have a chance and opportunity to do this because you're more mutable, but you got to basically act out in your own nature to basically performing and basically perfectionalizing yourself into doing this, though. Feel me? You want to make sure you bring yourself down here doing this, not being up in the clouds and shit, and just into this space, into that space, and you feel me? You're not bringing that shit into existence. You got to make sure you be consistent with this shit too. If you got a moon Sagittarius, you're gonna be seeing this reflecting side of somebody else playing that role as an sun in Sag. Capricorn, basically you're gonna be relating to your ways as far as practicing reputation, practicing career goals, and basically rest. Having rest is very important with a Capricorn. Feel me? Capricorns need their rest because when you basically get overcasted by the outer world and shit of how you see other people and shit, it may throw you off to the point where you're like, damn, I gotta work hard for this. For me, you just may put yourself in a situation of basically being a vibration of not having something and wanting something. But at the end of the day, when you do this, it's like basically praying to a demon. And of course, you're giving your power to a demon versus where you can just basically believe in yourself and basically bring this shit down to existence. As far as you being practical with your imagination, what you put your mind to. Feel me? Everything may take time, but you gotta basically organize the details in your life to see where you're going or where you're headed as far as where you need to basically find changes in your life. So make sure you don't utilize the guilt program as far as being left out or outcasted when you're basically dealing with the circumstance situation. Make sure you're taking care of your responsibilities on a day-to-day basis. This way you can be more confident with how you feel and how you express yourself and basically being a go-getter. If you got a moon in Capricorn, you're going to be receiving this from other people, places, and things. So you may be feeling the need to act out in that nature. So yeah, that's how I play up. For me, actions and reactions. So also Sagittarius, watch for being off. Like watch, this is opposing right here. So you may be having opposing ways as far as not being able to be changing in your ways as far as groups, organizations, health, and basically sticking to a routine pattern. So these are all important because you want to make sure you switch things up. For me, but you're going to be switching things up, but you need to learn how to do this in a more mutable way, in a more way as far as where you're looking over the details in your life, where you can be more open to other people, places, and things to help them and basically be a service to them in some way, shape, or form. This way is you're putting yourself in a predicament, circumstance, situation where you're basically in a basically box where you could just be a service to the world as far as being humanitarian and shit, and being more. You don't want to be more rebellious. For me, because people, places, things may try to change the structure of how you do things. So you want to make sure y'all blending things together. For me, everybody is different in their own way. You can't basically judge them by character. You got to just scope them out and see how they play out. Feel me? Because they can be a helping hand to you. Basically, being that you fixate in your own ways, you may not be looking into that perspective. So you want to make sure you bring that confidence and bring that trust with your groups and your teammates as far as who you're working with. If you got a moon and Aquarius, you're going to be receiving this reflection from other people, places, and things. And last but not least, when you got this in Pisces, routines with dreams, imagination, and basically you're going to be dealing with health, mental pursuits, because Pisces fall into the spectrum of Mercury. So maybe having a whole lot of problems, but try to ground yourself and be a service to the world and the community. This way, when you do this shit, everything will work out into your favor, and you ain't got to worry about any extra curriculum shits going out into your way as far as things being nightmares or fantasies or illusions that you get lost into. So you want to make sure you bringing this down to existence as far as being more practical with your life, and everything will be great. And that's pretty much the energies for today. I love y'all. Y'all basically be on point and be consistent.